Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Zoo here with Flipping the Switch, and we are liquored up live. The faceless fuck returns not too soon after another liquored up, so we're having a good time here. But just wanted to introduce my guest. He's here for round two, so we'll give him a quick introduction, and we'll jump right into just kind of the back and forth. So go ahead, and I'll leave you the first introduction. Tell everybody about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am CrimsonRosso. I am a gaming YouTuber who primarily focuses on reviewing JRPGs.
What JRPGs have you been playing lately?
On reviewing, hold on, there we go. I have been playing a lot. Well, as you know, I've been going through the Trail series.
Yeah, you're a Trails guy on YouTube, on the internet as well, which is welcome to that club.
Yeah. And I recently started up the Mario RPG remake.
Mario RPG remake is fabulous.
Yeah, I have been really enjoying it. My only complaint so far is I wish that they made it a little more difficult.
Oh, that was always an issue on that one. So that was an easy game in terms of like the difficulty. Like even like the super boss wasn't too much to sneeze at. Now what's interesting about that is the first and only game that is a JRPG that my dad ever completed. Like typically he's more of a action game kind of guy, but he completed that, and part of it is like the friendly nature, the prompts, things of that nature. So yeah, that was a really good game, and like Final Fantasy VII certainly deserves its credit for like finally cementing that genre in the public consciousness. But in terms of like beginning the baby steps of popularizing the JRPG genre, I actually give it to a couple games. One of which literally being, in terms of those quality of life features, would certainly be Mario RPG. Chrono Trigger is another. Earthbound's actually another. Like a lot of the quality of life that comes from modern JRPGs comes from really that trinity of games.
Yeah, I've actually also been going through Chrono Trigger. It's phenomenal.
Is this your first time?
Again, I've never played Chrono Trigger before. As you know, the legend himself, Akira Toriyama, passed away recently, and God. I wanted to honor him by playing Chrono Trigger.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better way to honor the man. Some would probably, I mean, as good as Dragon Ball is, it's hard to argue that Chrono Trigger isn't all three of those men's best work. It is a fucking masterpiece. Like it is so
like Dragon Ball. I think Dragon Ball is Akira Toriyama's easily his most iconic work, but I think Chrono Trigger is his best work.
Yeah, I 100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, I don't think you can get more iconic than Goku being at the Tokyo Olympics.
We've been taking it on the chin as anime fans and manga fans have been really fucking taking it on the chin the last couple years. So first we had the death of Berserk's writer. Now we have the death of Dragon Ball's writer.
What's the most interesting thing about those is, did you ever hear the story of what happened after the Berserk writer's death? People gathered in Final Fantasy XIV and held an open ceremony for him.
Yeah, Eyepatch Wolf covered that in his video with his Berserk video. It was like really crazy. They all had like the big giant swords, and yeah, that was absolutely something else. But we must protect Iraqi at all costs, Crimson.
One day. I've been going through JoJo's myself recently, and like I'm on part 2 now. That shit is fun as hell, man.
Thank you. Okay.
Because it's just.
So what the fuck can we do to get Bash and Caesar on board with this shit?
I think they're too far gone. We're just gonna have to, every time we see them in public, we're just gonna have to pretend we don't know them.
Might have to, yeah. I mean, fuck. Come on, like JoJo's. I mean, especially like if you look at the impact of JoJo's, like it's just as impactful as a lot of those others. I understand it starts slow. It starts a little slow, like it does. But holy shit, by the time you get to part 2, I was fucking hooked.
Yeah, I watched part 1, and I will be real here. I almost stopped at part 1 because I was like, first few episodes in, I was just like, man, this is just kind of okay, I guess. It's like, and then you start like the first episode of part 2 where he beats the shit out of 2 police officers. Like, all right, now you got my attention.
Right. Oh, and Joseph is just so much more fun of a protagonist as well.
Yeah, I didn't hate Jonathan, but Joseph was just so entertaining to watch. Like the next you'll say thing, I just couldn't help but quote that from time to time because it's such a fun thing to quote.
So I think Jonathan is just that hero archetype. I think that's the problem with Jonathan. He's just boring. Like he's literally like
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's just your typical hero archetype. Whereas same with Dio. Dio is kind of a villainous archetype in that, but Dio has you at least understand Dio's backstory of him coming from nothing and basically wanting to move up. And I love Dio's evolution as a villain because like Dio has spent that 100 years like thinking and reading, and you can tell like he's thought a lot
Yeah,
about
I think
things.
one of my favorite. Yeah, I think one of my favorite things I've heard from part 3 was just the small joke of like everything Dio kind of had a point. You know, he spends 100 years at the bottom of the ocean. He gets this really cool stand that can stop time. Then he fights Jotaro. Jotaro goes, "Oh, maybe mine can do that too," and it just does.
Yeah, it literally just yeah, a little bit of an asshole for sure.
That'd be fucking mad too.
Well, and that's why I've told people this like part 3 is it's good. It's good to watch through once, but honest to God, it really is very villain of the week. For most of its run, I always joke to people: you can skip part 1, watch part 2, watch the first 3 episodes and the last 10 episodes of part 3. Like if you're just
I
trying
think
to
the
do
main reason
the supercut.
Yeah, I think the main reason I just like part 3 is just because I like Jotaro. I think he's a fun main character with just how much of an asshole he is.
Jotaro's fun. Yeah, I just for a lot of people I've noticed they're trying to get him into JoJo. The villain of the week thing really overstays its welcome. Like it's like, oh, okay, which brick shit house are they going to be fighting this week? And it's always easy to tell who the villain's going to be because it's the guy who doesn't fit in his fucking shirt, like literally. You have all these like normies
Yeah.
around these fucking stacked brick shit house people. And it's like, gee, I wonder who the villain's going to be. It's like, oh, there's a sailor and he's 3 times the size of the normies in a muscle shirt. It's like, oh, that's the guy. Yep, that's our villain.
Yeah.
just
It did kind of throw me off when I saw the art style for part 4 and how much more different it looked.
Yeah, part 4 is to
like
me
Jotaro.
But part 4 to me is where things really fucking start taking off, man. Like that the murder mystery angle, Yoshikage Kira is probably one of the best villains ever. Like
I've heard part 4 and part 7 are a lot of people's favorites.
7 is Steel Ball Run. I can't wait for that anime. Steel Ball Run. I got a friend who's reading Steel Ball Run now, and it's absolutely incredible. So, we got Brooke in the chat. Hi, Brooke. How you doing? She was actually visiting me on my early Morrowind stream. Welcome in, get comfy, and yeah, well, welcome in. So, but yeah, JoJo, absolute. Everybody should check out JoJo. She's watching Madoka Magica right now, and she's watching Dragon Ball right now, subbed. So she's doing a little bit of Animu too. So we're all kind of meeting here at the intersection of Animu Avenue and Anime Way.
Yeah, I'm the only one here who's watching One Piece right now. I'm actually reading One Piece.
So I am slowly making my way through One Piece. I'm actually at where did I leave off last? Oh, he's at the place where Goldie Roger was executed is where he's at. So he just met
so you're at Lockstown.
Yeah, he just met Smoker.
Yes. Smoker is very fun.
Yeah, Smoker seems to be like a fun character, but yeah, it's Lodgetown. So yeah, it's where they executed Goldie Roger. So I'm slowly making my way, but fuck, 1,000 episodes, homie.
Oh, you think you have it bad with 1,000 episodes? I have 1,100 chapters.
Fuck.
I'm reading the manga, so. Well, because I've heard the manga is paced a lot better. So.
Also, I hear the manga is the ideal way to experience. Like Eyepatch Wolf said that too. Said the ideal way to experience to experience it is the manga actually.
Yeah, because the anime, after a certain time, starts to stretch out episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And focus way too long on singular panels to the point where just going to the manga will get you through the story faster.
That's crazy. But yeah, I can believe it. I can believe it for sure. So that's one I'm slowly making my way through. But in general, I like it. I do like One Piece, and I love the world building. I don't think anybody builds a world better than One Piece as far as that goes. Like just the
Oh, the
absolute
world
world
building
building.
gets just the world building just gets better and better each arc. Like you are not even at like because like there was just an arc coming up called Alabasta. Like it's a while away for you, but once you get to that arc, that is when you realize that this is like the pinnacle of One Piece.
Oh shit! Okay,
It is just the best arc in the series so far.
nice. Well, I don't know. That kind of scares me because Alabasta is fairly early in compared to what comes, isn't it?
No, I mean of like don't worry. There's a bunch of other amazing arcs. I mean by
Okay.
so far that I've read
Oh, okay.
because I know
Oh,
like I'm about
oh.
to enter an arc that
Okay, so that's just
yeah
what you've
like
read so far, not the consensus. Okay.
yes my favorite arc so far is Alabasta because it is just an amazing arc with probably the best like stakes and fights in the series
Well, Jay talks
so
about
far, anyways.
Alabasta too. I think Crocodile's like his favorite character in One Piece. So.
Crocodile is a great character because he's like the representation of like the real pirates. He's like a heartless asshole,
Okay. So
and he has an interesting power with the ability to control sand.
ooh, yeah. Actually, sand can be really deadly. I'll be interested to
Yeah,
see
that's
how he
like the
uses that.
concept is like like with since you've met Smoker, you've been introduced to the other type of like One Piece like devil fruit users, like the part I believe they're called Logia types.
Logia types, yeah, where they
Or
actually control like an element.
yeah, that's what Smoker is. That's what Crocodile is. He is a man made out of sand.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, Luffy
Yeah,
technically is that too because he's rubber.
yeah, but like the thing is, like Luffy can like stretch and like, but like his body can still get hurt by swords and stuff. If you're a Logia type, swords don't work on you.
Right, because it's just like
Like,
sand. Yeah.
yeah, like the whole thing is like Luffy cannot hit him because he's sand.
Shit. So he's gonna have to get really creative with that.
Yeah, and I won't spoil it, but I love the creativity they use.
You know, JoJo is one of the animes that gets credit for kind of getting out of the battle tendency to slowly but surely just ramp up to insane, ridiculous levels. It's kind of the shonen trap, you know. But honestly, I another one that does that really really well is One Piece because you've got Devil Fruit, right? Like
Right.
that's one group of powers. Then later on you get something called hockey that happens, and you've got
Yeah,
weapons.
hockey is like
You've got different weapon calibers.
hockey. Yeah, I think hockey is the most interesting power they introduced next to devil fruits because it like hockey is introduced as a power where you can basically as swords and guns don't work on devil fruit users. If you put hockey in them, you can hurt devil fruit users.
Right. That's what for
Like which I
example,
think is a cool addition.
well then you've got like Goldie Roger who literally or actually you've got Shanks, I think it is, who is said to like not even be a devil fruit user, but he's just so powerful in hockey and he's got a really, really powerful weapon type that it doesn't matter. The combination of his like high caliber weapon plus I guess Griffin is like a really high caliber weapon, and then on top of that, he's just really strong hockey.
Yeah, that's also Gold D. Roger because like it's stated later on that the reason Gold D. Roger was respected so much was because he became king of the pirates without ever needing a devil fruit. He just relied solely on his hockey.
Yeah, so basically it's just hockey, and then he had another really good way. So yeah, basically just really, really, really fucking strong, dude.
Yeah, which I got to admit, I love that idea of like in the scene of these super powered magic monster people. He just won because he had hockey because he was that much of a badass.
Yeah, literally fought like somebody said like there's this character called Whitebeard who's like one of the strongest people literally in the world, and Goldie Roger
Yeah,
without a devil fruit like fought him to a draw.
yeah, and this was a Gold D. Roger, and this was like a Whitebeard that had the world's strongest devil fruit, which was like to create earthquakes with a punch.
Oh
He beat
shit!
that guy in a fight.
Oh, he beat him in a
Yeah,
fight. Oh
yeah, like
shit!
yeah,
And
he surpassed him in battle, and that's why Goldie Roger was the most respected pirate because essentially he was an underdog. He was the guy that was just only with his hockey, just a human, and he beats a guy who not only has like all the forms of hockey, but he's able to create earthquakes. That's why, like, Lee Rogers is like the most respected pirate. That's why he's respected by even the Marines, because he was just at a level no one had ever reached.
So here's the question: how the fuck did they capture this guy?
I think it's implied later on that he, because you learn Luffy has like this stepbrother named Ace, who's his son.
Okay.
I think it's implied at the end of Gold's journey, he was kind of just done. Like, he just didn't want to live his life. He had finally done everything he wanted, and he let himself lose to the Marines. Like, he went out on his terms, and he wanted to use that moment where he was captured and about to be executed to create a new era of pirates.
Gotcha. Basically, he's like, hey,
because it's shown in like a flashback. Like, it's shown in a small flashback when he's talking to Luffy's grandpa, who's like a vice admiral. And he goes like, hey, do you mind watching over my kid for me? And you like see they had like a good relationship. They were kind of like friendly rivals.
Oh shit. Yeah, like, yeah, and isn't he like in the Admiralty too? Or not Admiralty, he's in the Marines. He's like a high-ranking Marine.
Yeah, Luffy's grandpa is like credited as the one who defeated Gold Roger. So he's like a very respected pirate, very respected Marine.
Gotcha. That'd be
and he's one of the
dynamic later on.
Yeah, and he's like one of the only Marines that's actually like a good person. He also has one of the funniest dynamics with Luffy because they just fucking can't stand each other.
Oh, that's fun.
They're always just screaming. Yeah, when he gets introduced, he like goes like, yeah, sure, I threw you down that well, and I tied you to balloons and let you fly away, and I made you survive in the jungle as a child, but it made you strong.
Jeez. I also hear the Netflix One Piece is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've been watching it. It takes a lot of different changes, but none of those changes are bad so far.
Wow, I was gonna say, so like out of all the anime adaptations, we got fucking one that was decent.
Yeah. From what I understand, the creator was very heavily involved in this, so it probably wouldn't have gotten out the gate if it didn't get his stamp of approval.
Gotcha.
Like, Oda was watching this at a
So Oda was a little more involved. Yeah, because he's really protective of One Piece. That's true.
Yeah,
that's why, like, all of the One Piece fans are like, because we all roll our eyes and be like, yeah, well, there's another piece of shit fucking Netflix at it. And the One Piece fans are like, no, Oda won't let that happen. And I'm just like, okay, we'll see. And then I'll be damned.
Yeah. I respect how much Oda loves his craft, in all honesty. You can really tell, he loves just working on One Piece.
Well, I mean, you're talking about somebody who's like, we talk about like somebody like Toriyama, but arguably we're talking Oda is arguably the GOAT as well, like literally right in that echelon.
Yeah, you ever see the letter he wrote to Toriyama after he learned he passed? It's really sad. Like,
no.
Yeah, like a lot of manga writers were talking. Like, I think it was just a few days after he died, a bunch of manga writers started talking about their experiences and how much they loved and respected him.
Damn.
And Oda's is just like a very emotional one because he, like, in a lot of interviews, like, Oda really looked up to Toriyama. He considered like Oda considered Toriyama a god in comparison to him.
Wow.
Like, Oda had the highest levels of respect for Toriyama and really looked up to him, and is like genuinely emotional how much he was hurt by his loss.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I heard it. Like, because nobody knew there was anything wrong, or no, I mean, fuck.
Yeah, like, he never talked about it. Like, Akira was a man who kept all of his sickness to himself so he could just work on his craft.
Damn. Like, I mean, mad respect. Mad respect. But yeah, it's definitely, anime space is definitely lesser without him. So.
Yeah.
So what games you been playing lately, man?
Other than the trail stuff and the well, as you know, I got a PC recently, like a few months back.
Yeah, me too.
And I've been setting up a bunch of emulators so I can do more of that one and dones, which the next episode should hopefully be out in about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got the Wii set up, and I've been playing games like Last Story. And in order to test out Dolphin a little bit more, I decided to find some weird GameCube game called Custom Robo, and it is might be one of the stupidest games I've played, but in a fun way.
I've heard good things about Custom Robo. A lot of people kind of say that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been playing it. It's like it's way goofier than I expected it to be, but the gameplay is really fun, and there's like an insane level of customization for a GameCube game.
Now that's different from Chibi Robo, right?
Yeah, Chibi Robo is like you play this little tiny robot and you run around and do chores and stuff.
Yeah, that's the one that like everybody like always jokes like, "Oh, we're gonna see it? Are we gonna see it?"
Yeah, I don't think so. Like after like the game, I feel like the GameCube thing was just a lightning in a bottle. They just couldn't capture again because
Well,
it's kind of hard to make a game like that consistently fun.
well, not only that, but like, yeah, I imagine being on the fucking GameCube, it probably didn't sell much. So, like,
From what I understand, it sold enough to get sequels, but those sequels didn't do very well.
oh, okay, so it's kind of so, like you said, kind of a one and done concept.
Yeah, like it didn't like this again. This wasn't like a Mario game. Like it couldn't make its like it couldn't like be bad and then go like, oh well, we can make like 5 more. This was very much all right. If this second one doesn't do good, we'll give you one more try, and if you can't, then
I can
again,
see
it's
that.
got like a cult fan base, but like it did not capture worldwide acclaim.
Right. I can't get the fuck off
It's like
Morrowind, man. I can't stop fucking playing Morrowind.
I gotta try that game one day.
Oh my god, it's a problem. It's a problem, Crimson, because fuck, I've got actual reviews I need to get done. I've got actual videos I need to make, and I can't stop playing this game. They just launched that new expansion, like called Andoram, because you're familiar with what's going on in the Morrowind community, right?
No, the only game I've really played out of Outer Scrolls was Skyrim.
Well, yeah, you and everybody else, literally. And Skyrim's good. It's a good game, but once you immerse yourself in the world building of Morrowind, it's hard to go back to Skyrim. Skyrim's just so basic, bitch.
I've heard.
It's basic bitch fantasy, man.
I've heard it like Skyrim is like a lot of people like it, but it is like nothing compared to a lot of the other one like things. I think people say it's nothing compared to like Oblivion and Morrowind.
And actually, I prefer Skyrim to Oblivion, but Morrowind is just it's another level, man. The world building and
like
how
Skyrim
alien it is, and oh, it's so good.
I mainly like Skyrim because of the dragon shot where you could just fucking shoot people off cliffs.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The problem with Oblivion and Skyrim are that those games like kind of ceased being CRPGs. Okay, they're kind of more in the realm of action games. And what I mean by that,
I feel like it was probably
controversial
just so
take.
it was easier to market, like
Well, that's exactly what it
kind of
was.
like how Fallout.
Well, it attracts more people. But long story short, if you are, and this is about to have I wouldn't say a nuclear take because I don't think I'm the only one that has it. I think a lot of people that are computer RPG fans have this, CRPG fans. If you don't use dice rolls, if everything isn't a mathematical formula behind the scenes, you're not a CRPG. You're just not.
Would you consider Baldur's Gate that?
Baldur's Gate 3, so all 3 Baldur's Gates are all dice roll based. Everything you do is based on dice rolls.
I have to play Baldur's Gate 3. Like, that is the one game I really regret not playing last year.
Baldur's Gate 3 is really good. Baldur's Gate 3
most of my time
generational experience, man.
It's I've heard like it's like easily a lot of people are calling it like one of the best games just made, period.
Yes. And I'm not even all the way through it. Like my friend V has probably put 300 hours into that fucking game since it came out. And based on what I've played combined with based on like the praise that she sings on that fucking game, like and 100%.
The only thing I know about that game is you kicking the squirrel so hard it fucking explodes. And I saw that and I'm like, I gotta put this game on my radar because that was fucking hilarious.
Well, and again, it is as close as I think anybody has ever come to actually putting an actual tabletop game of D&D on the table, in a video game format. It's so good at what they did. Like, definitely.
Yeah, I've heard Larian Studios.
Yeah, and that's also like Larian Studios followed the Ultima trajectory. Like, if you listen to Sven Vink, the guy will not shut the fuck up about Ultima in the Ultima series. And so, if anything else, I will always thank him for keeping the Ultima trajectory alive, because it was fucking dead before Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, you're a big Ultima fan, from what I recall.
Big time Ultima fan. Big time Ultima fan. And I started with 4. Was what I started with. This is back in the 90s. I fucking fell in love. Well, actually, 4 was not the one I started with. No, I take that back. It was 6 is what I started with. But then I immediately went back. 4 was like the immediate next one because I stopped playing 6, went to 4. 4 was the first one I completed because I was told you should do that. But this is back in the 90s when you would have to basically build a PC every time a new Ultima game came out. We actually built a PC for Ultima 7. Like, literally, there's so much lost history in Ultima, man. Microsoft literally designed Windows sound system around Ultima. Like, that's how impactful that game was in the 90s.
Kind of reminds me of the story that, like, the Switch was built around Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, just basically, and that's always, there's always a flagship game they do that with, like Nintendo. Nintendo is integrated hardware and software. Like, people don't understand. It's like, well, why do Nintendo games feel so good? It's because they're integrated hardware software. It's not just that there's all kinds of games. Basically, it's that those games are literally designed from the ground up for a specific set of hardware, and that hardware is designed specifically to function with that software.
I got to admit, I'm very excited to see what the next console is going to be, solely because I want to see what they're going to do with the next 3D Mario.
I'm not. I'm worried.
I know. It's fair. That's just, I'm a big Mario fan, so.
Me too.
I love the 3D.
That's why I'm worried. See what Wonder did?
Honestly, I don't want them to try to top Odyssey. Like, that just seems like a really high bar. I'd actually love to see them try to make a pseudo, like, sequel to Super Mario 64 and, like, add in all the stuff they didn't get to add with that one.
Yeah, Mario 64.
Because, like, there's, like, a lot of videos.
Still, I think the general consensus for, like, the overall best 3D Mario game. I hear that more than any of the others.
From what I've heard nowadays, it seems to shift more towards Galaxy 1.
Galaxy 1? Yeah, and I still gotta play Galaxy 1.
Galaxy is fun. Galaxy, I feel like, is the one. Mario Galaxy games, I feel like, understood the Wii a lot better than most of the other games that had motion controls in there did. Because there's motion controls, but they're not annoying.
Right, no, and that's important.
Like, that was my biggest issue with Skyward Sword, was like, oh my fucking god, just let me play the Zelda game. I don't need motion controls for everything.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big issue with Skyward Sword. Like, yeah, there was the motion controls being needlessly obtuse. There was the ridiculous. There's a lot of problems with Skyward Sword.
I think if you go and play the Switch version, it's like much better, but I still think it's my least favorite 3D Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people could probably argue that's true. Like, Skyward Sword is the first one. I know Nish loves it, like Nish Quick, but and there is some genuine merit. Like, some of the sword play in that game is kind of fun from what I played on the Wii. But I just can't do the fucking puzzle chore time Zelda anymore. I can't fucking do it, man. I can't.
I will. And I'm going to say it right now, that Skyward Sword, I think, is Zelda at its most obnoxious. And this is coming from someone who likes Zelda.
Yeah, it's bad. It's so fucking bad. Like, it's like, oh god, I gotta go back to the fucking Skyloft. I gotta talk to fucking Bulk and Skull and see what he's up to now. Like, every time I see fucking Groose, the Bulk and Skull music plays in the back of my head. Bump, 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 bump. Like, you're just a clown.
I feel like I will say that I think Groose is like one of the good things I liked about that game, solely because I actually like that he was a character that developed.
Oh, does he do it? So he's not just a fucking dipshit the whole game?
He starts out like that, but it's like the series goes on, he ends up becoming Link's like ally and teammate.
Oh.
Because he like falls down to the land too, and he starts being like a jackass, but like he stays at the temple you meet the old lady at, and he like gets disciplined there, and you and him become friends.
Huh.
Yeah, he gives up on his crush on Zelda, and he actually helps you in some of the fights, which is pretty cool.
So he helps you in the fights, and like basically helps you in the search for Principal's daughter. Is that what he's doing?
Yes, he actually like grows up, and I think that's a very cool thing, because you don't really see a lot of Zelda games where they focus on character development. And like, my problems with the game aside, that is something I genuinely applaud people for trying.
Yeah, and I'm I applaud him for trying, but again, that's not Zelda's strength. You know, Zelda's
Yeah.
strength is in its night in Celtic Wonderland is basically what that is. It's like a dark, it's that dark it's that dark high fantasy basically.
Yeah.
So it's that paired with I don't want to put this
It's like playing a Studio
legendary
Ghibli movie.
storytelling. So the storytelling should do like legendary formats, such as like the hero's journey, for example. Like it's a legendary formatted
Yeah,
story.
it's like playing a Studio Ghibli movie. You're interested in the vast wonder of the world.
Yes. Yeah, and basically drop me in a dangerous world full of a bunch of shit that wants to kill me, and let me stick my fucking sword in its face.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do with Zelda. Compelling world, dangerous enemies. Let me
Yeah.
explore a compelling world full of dangerous enemies, and that's Zelda. That's the fucking Legend of Zelda. Zelda is probably the
God
least
damn it, you better
complicated
let
of
me drink
all
milk.
the franchises.
Yeah, and I think that and Mario are why they're able to remain timeless because they don't tie themselves to storytelling. They're just pure gameplay fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I had high hopes for Wonder. I had really high hopes for Wonder, and the game's just too goddamn easy, Rosso. Just too goddamn easy.
I enjoyed Wonder a lot. As you know, I'm just a gameplay guy. I liked how fun the game was, but it is too easy.
It's piss easy. It's fucking piss easy. And
I,
before
I feel like
anybody,
it's just a detriment of relying because it just reminds me too much of the new Super Mario games. I don't want to say that as an
yeah,
insult because I think like because I still liked Wonder. I like the direction they're going. I like the fact we're getting more creative levels and like better looking games now. Like I feel like Mario Wonder was too easy, but it was very creative with a lot of ideas. And that's what I liked about the game is like genuinely felt creative.
so things I liked about Wonder. So one, the Flower Kingdom. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
love that they're given yet another location and sense of place that seems unique to the mushroom. I love that they're expanding on the world of Mario. So you have the Mushroom Kingdom, now you have the Flower Kingdom, and the Flower Kingdom felt unique. It felt like there was world building. Bowser legitimately felt like a dangerous attacking force again for the first time in literal decades. Like Bowser seemed to literally be causing mischief in this world, and you would see that story play out. Like the what little minimal storytelling was there is like you would go to an area, just like in Mario World or Mario 3, there'd be a setup. Oh, this is what Bowser's goons are doing. You go defeat that, then and so onward Mario journeys to what will be next on it. That's the kind of if you're gonna do it at all, that's how you do it, and it was done very well in Wonder. The only problem with the Wonder gimmicks is that I feel like what they really were doing is so for years they tried to do one concept. Their goal was to take 3D Mario and make 3D Mario sell as well as 2D Mario. And so in order to do that, they started stuffing 2D Mario concepts into 3D Mario. And when that didn't work, it seems like now what they've done is they said, okay, well, the 2D Mario games just sell better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to have our cake and eat it too, like Nintendo devs always like to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to change that pace. We're going to flip the script, and now we're going to shove 3D Mario gameplay into 2D Mario. Now, if you like 3D Mario, Wonder probably is like a revelation. But I'm not the most fond of 3D Mario, and so I immediately recognized it for what it was. And some of it's really fun, but without the difficulty to pair with it, it just seems like I'm on a fucking tour, you know.
Yeah, I get you. As I am a big, so that's probably why I liked it so much because I am a much more a 3D Mario
Right.
fan than I am a 2D one.
Right, absolutely. And I can definitely see that for somebody who likes the 3D Mario games, like I said, probably revelationary. Like, oh, this is so fucking cool. But yeah, I mean, and then like I say about the difficulty, like, and it's not. I don't think it's just Mario Wonder. It's also the new games, and it's a speed thing. I encourage you, and I encourage everybody that's listening here, go on YouTube and type in any Super Mario World level or Mario 3 level. Like type in like one of the ship levels, like the tank level, for example, right? And I want you to look at the speed by which those bullet bills and those cannonballs fire at you in those games. I want you to
I think
look
that's
at.
also just.
Yes.
I also just think it's a matter of them relying way too much on their secret levels being the tough ones instead of just giving you a challenge throughout the playthrough.
Yeah, it has to scale up, man. That's part of the Mario's magic on those early games. That's why those games feel so fucking immortal. Is it scales up really
Yeah.
well, and it's just much more fast paced. It's much more tactile, arcade style pace. A bullet bill will literally go across the screen in less than a second. Like, it'll catch you off guard. It'll fucking kill you. Now, at the same time, go look at Mario Wonder level, the airship level, where the bullet bulls, they look like they're traveling in fucking slow motion. The whole goddamn game, whether it's Wonder or the new Super games, feel like they're in slow motion compared to World 1 and 3. They just do. Like, and I
Yeah.
don't know how to put my finger on it. I don't know if it's the engine they're using. I don't know if it's a deliberate choice. But god damn, that game needs to be sped up like 2.5 times. Like,
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
I don't know, and I see it in the sales because 12 million is nice for any other franchise, but I made the point to OJ and others that like 12 million copies on that fucking game for what we're dealing with 2D Mario, that's actually pretty fucking low out the gate. For being 2024, for being on a system with 130 fucking million people, I expected a lot more than that. So I don't necessarily, and it seems to have really stalled out. Like, I don't know. I think it probably adds another 5 or 6 million. I think you can stick a fork in it. Just like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That game fucking stalled out, hit that wall at 20 million. Can't seem to make any more progress. Nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody talks about Wonder anymore. And it kind of puts Nintendo in a pickle because I suspect those games were meant to sell all year based on that fucking direct we got.
Yeah. My guess is like those are kind of, what was I going to say again? I don't know. Yeah, I can kind of get where you're coming from though.
Yeah, it's
I you know me, I'm not like a sales guy. That's you and OJ's turf.
sure,
I just pick up a game and play it.
Well, but I use it to predict. What I'm wondering is like it genuinely seems to me that they were going to launch in 2025, and that they were expecting games like Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Wonder to carry this entire year. Because if you look at what they've got on the shelf for this year so far, like you've got a fucking you got like the diving game, and you've got Peach, and you've got like Luigi's Mansion 2 remake and the Thousand Year Door remake.
Yeah, the Mario game.
And that's about
I'm gonna say
it.
I'm gonna say like the Peach game and the Thousand Year Door one are probably going to be their big hitters for this year. Will they work? Will they probably just focus on the next console?
Yeah, and again, it's I love, by the way, how now all of a sudden you see all the fucking game journos saying what I said like fucking 2 years ago. Have you noticed that they're all saying 2025 now?
Yeah,
I fucking love it, fucking assholes. And now all of a sudden I'm like, well, wait a minute. Depends on how those games sell and how spooked the investors get at the lack of momentum Nintendo Switch has right now. But
we'll say this. I will say this. I think they should have saved Mario Wonder for the Switch 2 launch.
100%.
I think that would have actually been that would have been a great idea. But I think they were just so confident that the Switch was. Go right ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I think they should have saved that for the Switch too. But I felt like with how well Mario was doing that like specific year, like again, the Mario movie came out, it was a phenomenal success. The Switch had sold so many, like game after game was like games were hitting millions of sales. They're like, all right, we can release this, and I bet it'd sell just as much as we need. And just didn't. It rated very highly. A lot of people liked the game, but I don't think they. But I think they just expected more.
I expected more, but I never thought about the timing with the movie in terms of, hey, the movie's doing well, maybe move this up. Because
I think the movie made $1 billion.
Oh, the movie, fuck. It's so, that movie's so good. That movie's so fucking
it's so fun.
Too. I adored that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It was such a fun movie. I think it's like now the second most the second biggest earning of like any animated movie ever. Like it had over $1 billion.
if you're doing direct comparisons, yeah, it's like number 2 or number 3. It's some crazy number. And one of the things I try to tell people though is you can't really compare direct across time. I don't think if you do the actual adjustments, I don't think anything ever beats Frozen 1. Just because of the time it came out, there were less people, the industry was less large, and it still did just a fucking insane amount. Just like Titanic will always be like, nothing will ever come close to either Titanic or Avatar 1 in terms of sheer
Yeah.
like adjusted box office. Nothing will come close. It's one of those things
Yeah,
like,
but
oh yeah, I think we're gonna beat Titanic. Nope.
yeah, but like I think that was like a big factor with how much money they were making off the movie. Then I think another Mario game came out that year as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Trying to
Is
did
it?
any,
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just trying to think of what it was, but yeah. Oh, Mario RPG.
oh yeah, Mario RPG remake. I think like
Uh-huh.
they wanted to capitalize on the movie, and I think that helped the sales of the RPG than it did Mario Wonder.
Yeah, and I was glad to see and there were two games to me that overperformed because I always look at it in terms of overperformance and underperformance. Pikmin 4 overperformed, well overperformed. What I expected
Hmm.
it to, and then Mario RPG overperformed. I think it beat its original SNES sales in like what was it like a month?
I think so because it sold like over 4 million, didn't it?
Yeah. So it's already at like 4 times
Yeah,
what the
for a
OG did.
game no, like Nintendo had not talked about like fucking once. That is insane for like what over 20 years.
Well, and what I love about it is it passes the macroeconomics test. So everybody take a shot at said macroeconomics. But yes, it passes that test because you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to crunch the numbers. 4 million in 2024 because it gets exponential. If you only sold a million or so, which is what Mario RPG sold, the exponential growth paired with population is not going to overcome 4 million. Now, Zelda selling 7 million in 1988, that game still dominates all of the other Zeldas that came out up until Breath of the Wild, where Breath of the Wild just fucking shatters and it's not even close. It's not even close. Um, and same with Pikmin. Pikmin 4 comes out, literally shatter. Like, you don't even have to crunch the numbers. Don't have to do the macroeconomics. That's a growing franchise. Like that. That's a franchise on the march. Like there's some really impressive stuff, but yeah. Then you got, and again, I'm not trying to shit on either of those games, Wonder or Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, these are clearly launch games, and that's one of the things I said. Is I said if Nintendo was planning on putting the system out in 2024, they would have held off on Tears of the Kingdom, and they would have held off on especially Mario Wonder, and also they would have held off
Yeah,
on Splatoon 3. The fact that they launched Splatoon 3 in 2022, late holiday 2022, when that's a game that will be supported for at least 5 fucking years, at least 5 years as a live service game. Like these are all heavy hitters. These are all games that Nintendo would have been able to utilize to sell hardware. And they launched them late in the stage. Now Switch got at least another 2-3 years, is what I said in 2022. When Splatoon 3 came out, I'm like, yep, you can Nintendo saw its shadow. You got another 2 years of Switch. And now
yeah.
now I'm back to wondering about it just because
I'm
of
like,
I don't know if those games are going to be able to keep a whole year's worth of momentum, which is I think why we also got the Pokemon announcement. I think the Pokemon announcement will probably do more than those fucking games are doing right now this year in sales at least. Um, I don't know. I don't know what.
and plus it's like an actually good Pokemon sequel from like my experience with the Legends games. Like,
Dude, Legends was so good.
yeah, I'm so sad that didn't become like the standard for the series.
Yeah. So what did you
I'm glad that they're making it into a series though.
what did you think of Scarlet Violet? What are your honest thoughts on Scarlet Violet? Like, what did you think of that?
We'll say this right now. I think Scarlet and Violet has the best like cast we've ever had in a Pokemon game since like
Agreed.
Black and White.
Agreed.
But fuck those performance issues.
Yeah. It's I like literally all of those characters. I like the
Yeah.
stories also. I think the stories are pretty well done. All three of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very strong casting, but man, that needed more time to cook, man. That needed a lot more time to cook.
Yeah. I've watched the DLC and they somehow introduce characters that I find even more interesting because they introduced this character in the DLC named Kieran.
Okay.
And the whole concept is he's a rival that you turn into a villain.
Oh, so he starts off as like, well, see, we haven't seen a genuinely villainous rival since like Gold Silver.
Yeah, that's what I like about him because in his concept, like his whole thing is like he looks up to you and thinks you're really cool because you beat his sister, who starts out antagonistic but warms up to you.
Yeah.
And his story is he starts like a lot of stuff keeps happening and like he starts getting sick of everybody like not letting him get involved in stuff because they don't believe because they're trying to quote unquote protect him.
Right.
And like at one moment you lie to his he like knows the truth and he believes you're gonna tell him, but it's just a moment where you straight up lie to his face. And when you leave, he just kind of snaps. And the story kind of goes like, well, because we basically stabbed this dude in the back, he basically fucking hates us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the concept is like in the second part of the DLC, he shows up and he's like now this asshole, like hardcore trainer. Like you basically made him mentally fucking snap, and he's like such an interesting villain because the whole time he's like the design is like he has these like tired, bagged eyes to show how fucking obsessed he is.
Fucking amazing. So he basically becomes Silver. That's amazing.
Yeah, he kind of becomes Silver. He doesn't turn into like a massive asshole, but like, well, he does become an asshole, but it's clear you stabbing him in the back pushed him over the edge.
Good stuff.
And it's such an interesting concept because no rival has ever had that kind of story before.
I'm gonna have to check out this DLC now because and again, it's such a shame about the goddamn performances. Because here's the thing, I loved what I played in the game despite the performance issues, man.
Yeah, like I got it in midnight release, and that game actively made me stop getting midnight releases.
Oh gosh, okay, yeah, it
was just that bad.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I mean, because again, great world. Did anybody else fucking notice there's no interiors hardly? There ain't no interiors in that whole world.
I actually never noticed that.
There's no interiors. Like literally, there's like the gyms and the specific places where you have Pokemon battles in story. That's it. Yeah, there's no interiors, not really.
Damn.
Like check it out. Like it's not something. I'm like, where the fuck are all the interiors? But
yeah, I never noticed that.
Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. I like Scarlet Violet in concept. I like the Pokemon. I like the people. But yeah, it needed more time in the oven. It needed more time to cook. And here's the thing: I'm going to make a prediction. The next mainline Pokemon game will be yet another downgrade because I think you saw the sales of Scarlet Violet decline due to Sword Shield's reception. I think you're going to see that happen again with the next Pokemon game too. That's kind of the thing. When you make fans unhappy, you don't always see it in the game that makes them unhappy. You see it in the next game. You see the sales drop. I've seen it over and over again with the Zelda series.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if it man, I really do think Tears of the Kingdom should have released on Switch 2, because if like the rumors are true about Switch 2, I feel like that would have been much more of a game changer for people. Like getting Tears of the Kingdom just evolved in 60 FPS.
I mean, it doesn't fix my main issues with Tears of the Kingdom, but it certainly would have fixed all the performance issues. And I think without the performance issues, I think it does perform better. Yeah. Because again, I understand that like my issues are very specifically my issues. I don't necessarily think I don't think that's hurting the sales personally. I think the performance is hurting the sales, and I honestly think that there are some fundamental things in the actual systems that are hurting its sales. Like for example, and that's tied into performance. So anytime you do Ultra Hand, the whole game slows to a fucking crawl. Like literally, it turns into like a fucking painting. You can hang it on your goddamn wall. Like the frame rate drops so bad when you're doing Ultra Hand, right?
Right.
That's definitely going to hurt your performance. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm sure Tears of the Kingdom is phenomenal. Every time I try to get into it, I fall off, and I can't really put a serious finger on why. Whereas I can go to Breath of the Wild and I can play Breath of the Wild right now and be hooked in again. Like, as long as I'm not doing that fucking shitty ass fucking Yiga clan fucking sneak mission that drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, that didn't need to be in the game at
That
all.
was so bad, dude. That was so fucking bad. That ground that pace to a halt.
I am glad it did not return.
That's one thing that you want to talk about. One thing Tears of the Kingdom has over Breath of the Wild. It doesn't have that fucking snake mission.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess
I also think like Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh,
like I feel like Breath of the Wild, no matter what came out, was never going to be able to like escape the shadow of, because Breath of the Wild was like one of those games that like fucking changed open worlds.
Yeah, it did. And also, you could tell Tears of the Kingdom was like, and again, I will give Tears of the Kingdom this respect. Everybody thought they were going to go Elden Ring. They didn't. They went Minecraft, right? And to be fair, it was the right move because Minecraft is the bigger phenomenon. It just is. Anybody who argues otherwise, a fucking fool. So they went with the right idea, but I just don't. I think it worked better in concept than it works on paper. I didn't like having to stop and everything I'm doing to access the menus. You're in the goddamn menus in that game so goddamn often. And I thought you were in the menus a lot in Breath of the Wild. It was one of the one things about Breath of the Wild I didn't care for. I thought that game was fucking menu heavy, but holy shit, Tears of the Kingdom. Every fucking time you want to fuse an arrow, every fucking time.
Yeah, I like the ideas, but they needed to set that up better.
Yes. How about let me
menus.
fuse a whole bunch of that arrow type and then put it in my quiver? How about that? So I can prep before a battle, like every fucking time. Like, I don't know, man. So here's a bit of interesting news that I want to point out to everybody. Shift Up just went public. Did you see that announcement?
Shift Up. What's Shift Up?
Shift Up makes Stellar. They're making Stellar Blade. It's a game that hadn't even released yet. Yeah, for PS5.
Oh, they're the ones making Stellar Blade.
Yes. They literally went public and became $1 billion company. An indie company literally becomes $1 billion company after going public.
Yep.
So my question is, why is that? What is it about Stellar Blade that has so much fucking attention in this industry?
I think it really just is the fact that it looks like a game. Like PlayStation has this thing where it's like an obsessive amount of like cutscenes and stuff like that. Like people joke about PlayStation being a movie theater, but like I think it's just nowadays Stellar Blade. Well, also let's be real, it's also the character design.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just like, you know, when fucking Tifa and her fucking titties broke the internet for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's you know, that has power. Like people like to say it's like discuss. There are people online who will say it's weird and like they're like using an ass to sell. Like sex sells. Like what can I say? Like that. If you make your character attractive, people are going to talk about it.
I was going to say, I mean, we sort of got away from this for a while, and it's really interesting to me to see kind of the return of the booba to games. Like it's making a hard comeback. It seems like.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I see. I don't understand because if you look at statistics, people like some people will say like, well, it's sexist to have asses like that in games, etc. But if you do the statistically speaking, like women also like to play these ultra attractive characters too. So if you actually look at those statistics, like it's not just a male. Like commonly people will say it's for the male gaze, and while that may be true, I think there's also a lot of female gaze on these too. Because at the end of the day, like gaming is a fantasy, right? And when you're playing a fantasy, you don't want to. I don't want to be myself. I want to be something more interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna choose this warrior type dude or this super stealthy archer dude, or I'm not gonna choose the fucking slightly overweight fucking middle aged guy. Like nobody wants to be that guy. Not when you're playing a fucking game. If I wanted to be that guy, I'd just fucking live my life. It's
Yeah,
it's it's
like just
escapism.
it. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think I agree with you. I think there's a lesson that can be learned in the fact that an indie corporation literally just became $1 billion company. Like the other thing I'm looking at is
Like,
these Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales, and
ooh, yeah.
ooh,
I'm not sure what's going on with that, but oh boy.
ooh. Now, part of it maybe is that Final Fantasy VI, because I don't think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has done anything wrong necessarily.
It hasn't. From
So
what I understand, like outside of like the only thing that people don't seem to like is the ending.
yeah, that's not going to tank sales though. I'm trying to, man, I don't know what the fuck happened here. This just came across my desk. Holy shit. That's a big drop from the first game.
Yeah, it's quite surprising.
Now, this is Japanese sales. Now, this isn't Western sales, which seem to be really still strong from what I'm hearing. I know MPD doesn't release like basic numbers, but I don't know. I kind of think Japan has, given the reaction to Final Fantasy 16 in Japan, and now you fucking pair that with this. I kind of think Japan's given up on Final Fantasy. I don't know. It feels like.
I mean, from what I understand, Dragon Quest has always been more popular over there,
Oh,
so maybe they're
100%.
just like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know better than like fucking Japan, but maybe they're just kind of tired of the hyper realism at this point.
Right. Yeah, not,
Like I
not,
liked
not, not,
like
not even not even Tifa's cans can fucking save this shit. Like, man.
like I liked 16. I thought it looked great, but like I don't think people like want that realism to be all Final Fantasy is.
Oh, definitely not. Look at how the pixel remasters fucking sell out over and over and over and over and over again. Like,
Speaking of which, I just wishlisted those on Steam. I really want to play 3.
they are on Steam, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all on Steam. They're separate though. You can't buy all of them. You got to buy them all separately.
Oh God, they rake you over the coals then, man. Okay.
Yeah, I've wishlisted 3 and 5 because I'm trying to just recently I played through Final Fantasy 1 and 2.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about that Final Fantasy 2 review since you bring that up.
Fuck that game, bro. That might be one of the worst experiences I've had with an RPG in years.
Can you believe that it used to be worse?
I played, the only reason I played the PSP version of it was because I've heard that was the least painful way to play it.
Well, I think the Pixel Remaster actually has that better now. But originally speaking, like you would literally have to beat the shit out of each other just to fucking level up your health.
Oh, you still have to do that.
Oh no,
on the
they didn't
PSP
fix it. Oh
no. Yeah, you still have to do that. That is the only way you can get proper experience points.
Oh
like,
my
don't
God.
get the wrong idea. That is funny as shit that you have to punch your teammates in the face in order to give them health. But it is an awful game mechanic.
Oh God, like,
especially because it's completely contradictory because you have to use cure to increase cure in magic and fights. But if you heal your party members, you lose out on that experience.
Yeah, so beat the fuck out of your party members to a pulp and leave them that way.
Yeah, because if you heal them, you'll lose out on those points.
Yep. Oh, by the way, the dungeon you're in's fucking 9 fucking levels long. Good luck.
Yeah, and get ready for 70% of it to be fucking troll rooms that triple the enemy encounter rate. I swear to Christ, I nearly snapped my Xbox controller in half playing that.
No, I knew you fucking hated it. Now here's the question I'm gonna ask you though. You beat the game, right?
Yes, I was able to beat the game.
Okay. Is there anything redeeming you can tell our audience about this game? Anything redeeming at all?
I will say this. The idea of the level up system where you use weapons and you get stronger, that is a good idea. That is a genius concept. I like that idea. I like the ability to be able to build characters any way you can.
You're gonna love Morrowind.
And I think the game looks rather pretty. You know, the PSP remakes look great.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, though, is misery.
I kind of think the villain, the Emperor, I kind of think he's kind of a cool villain in concept.
I thought he was. I thought he was okay for the time. Like again, I'm basing this on the structure of like,
and he's one note as hell.
I found him more interesting than Final Fantasy I's villain.
Oh yeah, what fucking villain?
Yeah,
like
I did thankfully figure out a way to cheese the game by combining certain spells together to beat the final boss. Because the final boss is a massive spike in difficulty.
Talk about on 1.
On 2, it works in 1, but you see in 2, you know, you can get haste and berserk.
Right.
Something I've discovered is those don't go away. If you use them once, they will stack. You can stack spells on people.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. What frustrated the shit out of me in Final Fantasy 1 in particular was in the original one for the NES. That's when I played where I played it. Chaos, the final boss of that game, has a spell called Cure 4. Okay.
And he fully heals himself?
Yes.
Yes, so what you have to do for that, I've discovered, is just that happened to me and I restarted the fight. And then that's how I discovered the haste. Like if you just keep using power, like tempera, to boost a character's power, that works in Final Fantasy 1 and will stack. So you can just start doing like 1 to 2,000 damage per hit if you have a warrior in your party.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, like that becomes the best way to do it.
And I didn't realize they never fixed that. So in future versions, they also had that shit.
Yeah, like in the PSP version, he has 20,000 health,
and he can full cure himself.
Yes. So the idea is you have to use because that boss is kind of almost unbeatable unless you use that combo.
God damn. Yeah, and you better all have ribbons too.
Yeah, I was able to get through it without ribbons solely because that strategy is just that effective.
Okay, gotcha.
And use haste, and you have to use haste as well because haste increases the amounts of hits, which combined with increasing damage just triples your damage output.
Okay, and then you can outrace him basically.
Yeah. Well, actually, haste doesn't increase speed in the original Final Fantasy 1. It just lets you hit more.
Got it. Okay. So, yeah,
that's why it's perfect combined with.
I need to try the Final Fantasy. I am gonna have to go through them all again for my Switch project eventually. Like I'll be fucking 90 years old by the time this goddamn project finishes. But because I just got more Switch games today, actually, I had an order I totally fucking forgot about. Now I got Persona 3, Persona 4, and This Way Madness Lies from Limited Run ship today. So more fucking art.
Nice. Make you start buying new games.
So, are you a Persona fan? I think you are. I think we talked about.
I am.
Yeah, of the Persona.
Yeah, I like Persona.
Of the Personas that you played, what's your favorite?
Probably 5.
5.
Basic bitch answer, but I really like 5.
5 is. I haven't played the other 2, but 5 is amazing.
Yeah, I love Persona 5. I played 3, and I really liked 3. I just hated the fact I couldn't control my party members.
I can't wait. I've heard about that shit, and like I said, I think I'm gonna go to 4 next. I think I'm gonna go in reverse chronological since I've already played 5. I think I'll play 4 next, and I'll play 3.
Yeah,
but I'm interested.
They did make a mod though.
So let's. So each game, I'm just kind of curious because these are games that all have really, really compelling characters. Two universes of which I haven't met yet. So I guess we'll start at 5 since we both played it. Favorite character and least favorite character in the game.
My favorite character for 5, that would probably have to be either Ryuji or Makoto.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Ryuji.
Least favorite.
I think Ryuji gets the short end of the stick so goddamn much. I like Ryuji. Goddamn it.
Yeah, they do. They rely way too. Again, it's a game based very heavily on Japanese comedy.
Yeah, they're always shitting on that guy, and that guy's always getting the blame for everything.
Yeah, that's like a Japanese. That's like a big joke of idiot gets made fun of.
Okay.
And they kind of just don't stop with Ryuji. They just don't know when to stop with Ryuji, and it just comes across way more toxic.
It is like when he literally saves them all, and then they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, fun fact, that's actually way more violent in the beta version.
Oh wow! So yeah, that's not fucking nice.
Yeah,
Like all
they
you
are
girl,
just
every one of you girls should be kicked out of the party. Even best girl, even best girl should be kicked out of the party for that. Fuck out of here! Like
yeah. I will
absolutely
say my other favorite
shitty.
character, if we're talking about Royal, yeah, like if we're talking about Royal though, I'd say Sumire was one of my favorites, or Kasumi,
Okay. That's the
because I really liked her.
that's the one that actually has like an identity issue because of what happened with her. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but she has an identity issue based on the trauma in her past, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Hey, I'll tell you another one I want to throw out there. So for me, it's probably like, yeah, gotta throw it out to Best Girl Makoto for sure. In terms of that. Or also probably Yusuke, Best Boy.
Yusuke is fun as fuck, I will say. I think his back and forth with Futaba is probably some of the funniest moments in the game.
Oh, Futama's so fun too. Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think my favorite, I will say, I think the funniest moment is in Shido's palace where he gets turned into mice and he keeps trying to tell jokes. And of course, like Futaba doesn't find it funny, but he just thinks she can't hear him because Yusuke doesn't understand that they aren't funny.
and then also
And you just
Dr. Maruki.
Maruki was such a good villain.
Dude. It's such a breath of fresh air after all these pieces of shit you dealt with the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I like the concept that he kind of knows what he's doing isn't very good, but he's like he genuinely just thinks he's right.
Yes. Yeah,
He's
basically.
not evil, but he's very yeah, he's just a man who's been like fucked over by everything. And now he's just like, if I can help the world, I don't care if I'm an asshole as a result.
Yeah, like I get it. He just has an extreme force of will. Like that's it. He's like, I know this is
Yeah, his
wrong,
force of will.
but it's okay. If me being wrong and being a
Yeah,
shit helps everybody else, whatever. So be it.
yeah, like and like his force of will was like so strong. His persona evolved in the fight, which is
That
like
was
nothing
so
you ever
yeah,
see in the
that
series.
was wild. Yeah, because literally the only people who had done that is like you and the people who self-actualize. Like actually they didn't even do that. Like he literally pulled like a Satanile. Like literally that's what he did. Because this is already evolved.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah, because he elevated already, then he elevated again, like Santanile does.
yeah, like he was just his will was that strong.
Yeah,
Like the only other villain that I think was as good as him
Kamashita.
was in the side games called Persona 5 Strikers.
Okay.
Persona 5 Strikers, like it aims for more like sympathetic villains who are nowhere near as evil and like just people led down bad paths.
I haven't
And the
played
main
Strikers
like
yet,
dude
but
behind it
I
all,
hear Strikers is genuinely good.
yeah, Strikers has very well written villains. And the one dude you fight, his name's Akira. He's like the main villain.
Okay.
Like his whole thing is like he gains this power and he wants to like control people's minds and give them their desires because he wants to be the hero of them all and like be the hero who saves all the sad people.
Right.
And like it has like he's like this giant. He's based off a Power Ranger actually. Like he has a giant Mechazord. And then like I think he's like one of the best fights because like when you beat his Mechazord, instead of just the fight being over, you just see him valiantly walking out of the flames.
That's amazing.
Talking like how a hero never surrenders.
Yeah, it's like
and then he pulls out this
like a goddamn Green Ranger moment. Like fuck.
Yeah, and then he pulls out this gigantic Sephiroth sword, and you have a round 2 with him.
God damn, that sounds awesome.
It is the best fight like in the entire game for me.
Okay.
I will say, I think the second villain in that game is probably the best, solely for just how relatable his issue is. Of just being a guy who was never like his whole thing is like he's the grandson of this famous author, and people only hired him because of that, and like he always had this belief that he was never good enough no matter how hard he tried.
Ooh,
so he has this very relatable feeling of how that can be.
That's rough. That's definitely fucking rough.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's getting bad out there.
Yeah, for me too.
Oh, yeah, but where are you at?
I'm in Columbus right now.
Oh gosh, okay, you're Midwest too. Okay, so this is all over the fucking Midwest.
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro. All right. Well, guys, if you lose us, it's not our fault. I picked up, man. So anyway, okay. So Persona 4, favorite and least favorite.
Persona 4, probably Yosuke. Yosuke is very funny.
Okay.
And least favorite is Teddy.
Teddy. Teddy's so corny. I've seen clips of him.
Yeah.
Bear, pile on the enemy.
Yeah, he's the easy guy. I kind of wanted to just kick his ass more than anything else.
Who's more annoying, Morgana or Teddy?
Teddy.
Okay.
Morgana at least had like a persona to help.
Okay. Oh, that's true. That's true. Teddy doesn't really have a persona until like later or something, right?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, and then finally, Persona 3.
Persona 3, my least favorite is probably Yukari.
Okay.
Persona, and my favorite is probably Mitsuru.
Okay. Now, who is Yukari and who is Mitsuru? Because the 3 is the game I know
Yukari
the least
is like
about.
Yukari is kind of like the main female lead of that game. She's the brown-haired chick.
Okay.
And
what's the beef with her?
She's just like kind of annoying.
Oh,
I just don't really like her as a character.
Okay.
Like she can be kind of a bitch to people who don't really deserve it.
Okay.
I think she gets much better, but she's still probably my least favorite in terms of the entire cast. Well, actually, no, she's not my least favorite. A character by the name of Ken is.
Ken, okay, gotcha. I think I've heard that name before, but yeah, I don't know anything about the cast of 3. So, and then who is Mitsuru, and why is Mitsuru seem to be the best girl of this game?
She is just a very fun. She like comes across as like a very put together character, and she has like a great arc of like opening up to others.
Oh, okay. So okay, gotcha. Okay, so all right, well, I'm starting to see a pattern in some of these characters. I'll have to play. Don't spoil anything. But
yeah,
there's and the mascot I hear in 3 is actually the least annoying mascot character. It's just like a fox or
yeah, because it's just literally a dog.
A dog. Okay,
it is just a dog. It doesn't talk. It's just a dog. They give a dog a gun, basically.
You know what? I'll take it. Compared to Morgana's annoying ass, like I'll definitely take it. Yeah. I'll tell you what another villain, Kamoshida, always gets a special mention too as far as villains go, because my concern was they would never top that guy in terms of like sheer animus for wanting to beat his ass, and they didn't. But oh my god, what a way to start that whole thing, huh?
Yeah, I think it is easily the best start. Like it is such a great beginning. Because he is just an awful human being.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, absolutely fucking nuts how much I wanted to beat that guy's ass by the end of that. Like, just
he is he's so fucking hateable.
No, he's scum. And my understanding is every one of those villains is based on like an actual like real character like in Japan, or like or a real issue, at least societally.
I think so.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll look more into that, but because I'm actually finishing up my Persona 5 review. Like I'm in its final draft now. So I'm always looking for like little fun tidbits to kind of sprinkle in or to alter the writing a little bit. So I got to do that. I'm in Crossbell now. So you talked about being a Trails guy. So I am also a Trails guy on the internet. I started with Crossbell. Where did you end up starting? Because depending on where you started, like you could end up in a totally different country than I've been.
I started with the Sky Trilogy.
Okay, so you started in where they tell you you're supposed to start. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, like Nintendo or whoever the fuck NIS, bring the goddamn Sky Trilogy to Switch. Fucking do it. I need it in my life.
I think because of like, I don't think they can is the thing. I think it's because like of a bad like relationship with the translator. They can't do that.
God damn it. So that game's like
forever
like
in
limbo because the translators are assholes.
Yeah, I think they've mentioned that they wanted to remake the game, the original trilogy, so they don't have to deal with the licensing rights.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we get the remake.
I think they said once they finish up the series.
Well, in other words, won't be on Switch. So might have to break down and just play that one on the computer. So not a problem. There's worse fates, worse things that could happen. But yeah, I started in Crossbell, and I'm really actually interested to see how this develops. I was talking to Emily from Orbology, and she was telling me, because I was telling her kind of that I see this almost as like World War II era Portugal, as far as Crossbell being caught between two warring or about to be warring powers, and them attempting to maintain that neutrality. And so I'm reminded a lot of like the city of Lisbon, kind of as a parallel for Crossbell. And she's like, I see where you can see that from based on where you're at now in the story. I disagree, but because I've seen more and I can't spoil it. So I'm excited to see how that develops, and excited to see if my premise is actually ultimately proven correct. So I'm in the third chapter.
Crossbell, I still think is the strongest series so far. Like, which is how well written everything is.
Dude, and by the way, like the when I say they built a city, they built a fucking city. It's almost as good as like I literally joked that it's kind of like the Ulysses, as crazy as a comparison of that is. It's like the Ulysses of video games, because James Joyce literally said that if Dublin were to vanish from the face of the earth, you could rebuild every stone of Dublin from reading that book. You could rebuild Dublin. And I feel like that by the time I get done with Crossbell, like we could literally construct that entire society and that entire city, like if we really wanted to. Like it's just so well done. Like the city really is its own character in Crossbell.
Yeah, that's what I think is so strong about that series, is like even the city is a character.
that's so cool. And that's the thing. Like games,
I will say,
I always love it when they take the extra mile and they actually really go into the world building. Because I've always said that in video games, we don't just play games. We're also there to explore a world. We're there. Basically, think of every game as like a toy box. And I love it when they actually put the work into the details to make that toy box shine.
I will say this though. I think Crossbell, like Zero, is a phenomenal title, but there is going to be some story stuff later on you will not understand if you did not play the original trilogy.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to probably look up some kind of addendum or something like that. So
yeah, I don't know if you've met the character yet, so I won't say anything.
Right. So shit, I think we're gonna get cut short with weather here. An alert just showed up. Before we get cut off or before we have to go, I want to give you an opportunity. Is there anything you want to ask me in terms of anything that you've been thinking about, anything you want to discuss? Any questions you have for me? I always like to give the guest a chance to cross-examine, and we can always go back to talking if it stays good. I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about things you want to talk about
too. Actually, I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just always like to at least ask that question. I don't want to see us have to go because of a weather alert, because this is getting kind of heady over here.
Yeah, thunderstorms going nuts outside.
Yeah, the hail is nasty. Like,
yeah, thankfully we're not getting. It doesn't seem like we're getting hail. We're just getting thunderstorm.
Yeah, I'm getting fucking pounded right now. So yeah, best of luck. You don't get that shit, because that's no good. So Brooke Barnes says, I am watching episode 3 of Madoka Magica now. I am up to episode 914 of One Piece. So yeah, you're really far along in One Piece. But yeah, once you finish episode 3 of Madoka Magica, you and I gotta talk. Because that's when I really like to talk to people, because I'm not getting no spoilers. I shan't say a word till you're done. Have you seen Madoka Magica, Rosso? Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, it is a complete deconstruction of the magical girl genre. You should check it out.
I will. It's on my list.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. And it's short. It's like 9 episodes, 12 episodes, something like that. How about you? For me, you have any recommendations for the anime? Anything you've been watching recently that you would recommend that's really good that you want to pitch me?
One I'm going to start watching outside of One Piece. I haven't really been watching much other anime. What I do want to start watching that Frieren anime that came out.
What's it called?
Renren, I think it was. It's the new anime. Like, it's about like this elf that like what does the basically I think the concept is like this elf lady works along who fought a villain a long time ago, and it's like what does she do after the journey is over?
Gotcha.
Like her hero journey is over and she's just traveling the world now.
Okay, what is spell that for me?
I don't even know how to spell it. 1 second. It's such a hard thing to spell.
We'll just type in anime and then sound it out for me again. Say the word.
Frieren. I think it's Frieren.
Anime Frieren. Found it. Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
Yeah, that one.
And it's on Crunchyroll. So yeah, if we don't lose power, I'll start that one tonight. Cool. Yeah, very interested to see how that did. I'm always looking for like new anime to watch. So
yeah, I've heard like very, very good things about this one. So
like I always joke, I live between Anime Avenue and Anime Way. Like, yeah, if there's a good, but I like good anime. I like good anime. There's a lot of shit. We can talk now. I'm about finished. Oh, okay.
All righty.
I was finished.
Have a good night, man.
Oh, no, not you. That's a Brute Barnes comment. You're good.
All right.
Yeah, we can talk now while I'm finished. So we can talk about Madoka Magica. Well, unfortunately, Brooke, my guest hasn't watched it yet, so we can't. But I'm going to, at some point over the next weekend, I'll be doing a Morrowind stream. And if Rosso's not in the Morrowind stream, we will talk about Madoka Magica because holy shit, I am so fucking excited. That's awesome. So she just finished episode 3, which means we can officially talk about that now. So yeah, that's the thing, Rosso, is you're gonna when you first start Madoka Magica, you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, why am I watching this? Persevere. You want to give it at least 3 episodes. And on the 3rd episode, it will drop you. It will hook you. Trying to think of another anime.
Gotcha. I'll wait for that.
Yeah, trying to think of another anime that's similar to that in concept, to where it took me a little while to get hooked. I don't know. That's the one that really stands out. Like one I just didn't even know. Oh yeah, actually, Haru Suzumiya sort of did that to me.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's good. Its first season is fantastic. The second season is really, really, really polarizing. You're either the 5% that love it, or you're everybody else who fucking hates it.
Ready? I'll keep that in mind.
Uh-huh. Yeah, second season, Endless Eight is very, very polarizing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So, but yeah, other than that, what's going on? Rad Bash just showed up. What's going on, Rad Bash? We are having a we are weathering a storm here tonight. I don't know where you're at, but how's the weather where you're at, Rad? But
yeah, it's getting crazy out there.
Yeah, it's getting how's it doing on your area? It's not flickering power or anything, is it? I don't want to put you in danger, man.
It is flickering power.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you want to call it? Maybe we can do a part 2 sometime, maybe the next week.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, guys. So, for safety's sake, things are getting really bad in Rosso's neck of the woods. I'm getting pounded by hail. I think we're gonna call it. Because yeah, we last thing we need is somebody's power surgeon knocking their fucking computer out or something like that. Glad it's hot where you're at. Glad it's normal, but yeah, we're in the fucking twilight zone here. So we're gonna go ahead and end the stream a little bit early. We will be safe, definitely, Rad Bash, and I appreciate that. But we're going to go ahead and end the stream, Ross. So if you want to stay on with me real quick to do like a quick denouement, and then we'll set up plans for maybe because yeah, we kind of had to cut this one short because of weather. We're both in the Midwest, and apparently it sucks here right now. So all right, take care, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out, and get out of here.